I asked Willie once, I said, what tool are you most proud of the 5? And this is a guy who hit 660 home runs, 3,000 hits, did it all on offense, right? He said defense, because that's where it starts. That dictates every game, where offense might not. So then I asked him, what was your best tool? Was it hitting for power, throwing, fielding, base running? The 6th tool was my best tool. I said, okay, so now when people ask me, what's your best tool out of the 5? I'll say the 6th. Thinking, envisioning, visualizing, anticipating, knowing what's going to happen. Alvin Dark made him the first African-American in history, the first African-American captain. And he was so proud of that, because he was more than a captain. He was an on-field manager. I talked to many of his teammates who said he told us where to play every batter. Before games, Juan Marichal and Gaylord Perry would have these 3-minute meetings, and Willie would explain to him where the defense is going to play and get a vibe on what was working in the bullpen so that the defense could adjust to the pitcher. And Marichal said, nobody ever did that for me other than Mays. So and Bob Tewksbury, who worked for the Red Sox and later the Giants, not until John Smoltz in the 90s did we hear about psychologists in baseball. And Tewksbury has been a mental skills coach. And he talks about, the 5 can be quantified. The 6th can't necessarily, unless you judge it based on your success to overcome failure. Like a hard line drive to second base, Mays brushed it off and then got to hit the next game, that next at bat, whatever it was. So I have all these examples, and he shares some as well on what he did to win games that have nothing to do with the 5 tools. And all these teammates talk about it like it's just a matter of fact, just part of his game that none of us knew. They talk about Barry Bonds. He also anticipated pitches years later, Willie's godson. But Mays was the first of his kind. All these Hall of Famers, they look up to Mays, not just because he did everything well on the field, but he outthought you, and he beat you in so many ways.